find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
I'm gonna do a little bit of a Windows jiggery pokery so that I can see everything I want to see.
You know, I told you I wouldn't allow Mr. Windows jiggery pokery back in my house.
You don't like a bit of... Oh, damn, I don't want that. I don't want that, Windows.
That's why I don't want him in my house. He's constantly bringing me things I don't want. Like a wet goose, 2 halves of different muffins.
A wet goose from Windows is...
something I've never wanted or hoped to give, even to my worst enemy.
It's a Bill Gates fanfic, if I ever heard one.
You wouldn't give a wet goose to your worst enemy.
Alive or dead?
Alive.
Oh. Actually, that's kind of funny, because, like, you just, like, let a wet goose loose in a room that they're in.
Don't let the wet goose loose.
What do they do? What do you do with a wet goose? That's actually something I would give to my worst enemy.
I mean...
What do you do with a wet goose?
I'd love to see Vladimir Putin and a wet goose locked in a room.
What do you do with a wet goose?
And that's the cold open.
Okay.
In olden days, a glimpse of femur was only for morbid dreamers, but you're not alone. Bring anything bones. 2 goofy gals with deathly interest go on a skeleton inquest in your headphones. Anything bones.
Hello and welcome to Anything Bones. I'm Sophie Bellyful of Straw Schwartz.
And I'm Katelyn. My story is sad, but there is joy in Christmas heart.
And this is Anything Bones, the podcast where we talk about bones and bone-related topics. And Katelyn, I have brought you a bone miss present.
You have?
Yes, it's a guest.
A guest? Oh my god, who is it?
It's recurring guest Nicholas Kruger. Welcome.
I explode out of the present-shaped box that's in my room in the Zoom recording.
Whoa! Nick! There's a goose in there!
I bet you were wondering why there was a third Zoom call open with just a big present box and a microphone in front of it.
I said, this'll
no
be
more.
Good. I don't want to know what the surprise is. I love surprises.
Well, surprise, Katelyn. What's up? It's me, Nick.
Just in time, because I missed you both terribly.
Missed you both terribly.
Yeah, we missed you. We already miss you, now that you've flown la coupe.
I'm in a new apartment in Portland, so if my audio sounds different, fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Wow. Laying it down.
That's how I talk to my listeners and friends. Happy
Listeners,
Hanukkah.
friends, haters.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Happy Hanukkah, you guys. We're in the middle of it.
Thank you.
Are you having a wonderful Hanukkah, you two?
It's fine. I'm having a decent Hanukkah. I did just get a nice new menorah, because the last one, for everybody, I keep the menorah in the Christmas box. I do both. It's okay to do both.
It's okay to do both.
Yeah, I want to say April of this year, I was messing around with that Christmas box, and the menorah just fell down, and we lost a day of Hanukkah off the menorah.
No! Don't tell the fucking Maccabees.
I know. I couldn't bear to see them waste a day of oil. So I was running around with one less day of candle, and then I went to the local curiosity shop, and also turns out the best place to buy menorahs in town, because Judaism is a bit of a curiosity, turns out.
You want to know where a bitch got her menorah this year? Because I couldn't find mine deep in my closet.
Oh no, where did you find yours?
I found mine at the Town and Country Market for a cool $2. The cheapest.
$2?
Yeah, little tin thing. But apparently Ballyhoo's where to get them.
Frugal as always. Ballyhoo, they got some, Ballyhoo, the local, Curiosities Emporium and Menorah warehouse, turns out a great place to find a menorah, because they got one for $25, and it's freaking nice.
Can we get a look at that bad boy?
I'm gonna have to leave the mic.
Here
we go.
Leave it.
Here we go.
Don't hurt yourself.
Now the goose is gonna get on the track.
Honk!
Goose, that's an unsavory opinion.
Are you ready for some of the best podcasting you've ever heard?
Yeah, this is really good for the audio medium.
Here's the menorah.
Oh, that's very nice.
It's so it is a silver thick menorah.
Wait, hold it up. I'm going to take a screenshot.
Thick.
Okay. I think I did it. I don't know, though.
Shiny, silver, thick, Jewish.
I was going to say,
things you want in a menorah.
You gotta be sturdy to be Jewish these days.
Mm-hmm. These days? Oh,
God, you said a mouthful there.
So that's how my Hanukkah's going.
Wonderful. I'm also having a lovely Hanukkah, and I actually have a Hanukkah present for the two of you.
Oh my
What?
God.
I'm just full of presents tonight.
I would like to open it.
What is it?
Yes, it's a little Bone Miss Hana Bone quiz.
This is like when the teacher says, I have a surprise for you and it's more homework. Which is also like the most Hanukkah gift of all.
I was going to say the spirit of Hanukkah is more work.
It truly is.
You don't think that they were just chilling while that oil was burning? They were cleaning up the temple because it got trashed.
We're an industrious people. Give me this quiz.
All right. So this is how the quiz will work. The quiz is called I've Got a Bone to Pick. And I am going to, based on the internet game show Actually, I am going to give you guys a bone-related statement, and you will tell me what is wrong with the bone-related statement.
Okay.
So
interesting.
We're looking for the error. So you'll say, I've got a bone to pick, and then you'll tell me the bone that you've picked out of the sentence.
All right. Bones are at the ready, I guess.
And some of these questions are targeted towards different people.
Oh, boy.
All of these planes were used in World War II.
Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go.
Submarine Spitfire, Fiat CR-30, Hilzer VZ-1 Pawnee, CAC Boomerang, Hawker Tempest, and the Douglas O-46.
Nick, what bone do you have to pick? Because those were just words to me.
Those were and honestly, like, a lot of those were words to me too. I got one to bone pick with you. It's the first one was a supermarine, not a submarine.
A supermarine?
A supermarine. A submarine Spitfire. I mean, I got a bone to pick. That's a submarine.
That's a submarine. I'm sorry. My dyslexia strikes again.
Going off what I heard, that's not a plane at all. That's a submarine.
That's on me. I'll take the L on that. But but of the ones I said correctly.
The boomerang? I don't really know. Honestly, a lot of those I wasn't super familiar with.
It's the Hiller VZ-1 Pawnee.
Hiller VZ-1 Pawnee. You got a picture of it?
Hell yeah, I do. It is not a plane so much as it is a 1940s hovercraft.
Oh, that hover boy. Yeah, I've seen pictures of this and maybe watched it.
We gotta go back in time.
This is something I've watched a 15-minute YouTube mini documentary on and then forgotten about immediately.
I just love that they had hovercrafts in World War II. What were they used for? Probably nothing, but...
Yeah,
they looked rad as hell.
They look rad as hell. All right, are we ready for the next statement?
Yeah.
Sure.
The son of Sam claimed that it was his dog that drove him to kill.
I've got a bone to pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was his dog.
I got a bone to pick. It was his cat.
Nick, you're farther. Caitlin, you're so close. For the bonus point, whose dog was it?
Oh, like a victim's dog?
No, what's his neighbor's dog?
Neighbor's dog. I was about to say neighbor's dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. You got me.
I thought that... No, you'd still get a point for that, Caitlin, because you said you did not think it was his dog.
It was not, so thank you. I'll take a half point on that.
Oh, you're being modest.
Yeah, I am.
And for the last question, do you want I have a hard question, and then I have an easy question. Do you want the hard one or the easy one?
I want the hard one.
Okay, yeah, I can agree on that.
All right, I can give you both because the easy one's super quick. All right.
Both.
All right, here's the hard one. In 1878, the body of the youngest son of President Rutherford B. Hayes was stolen from his grave and found hanging by the end of a rope at the Medical College of Ohio in Cincinnati by a janitor.
I have a bone to pick.
Yeah.
I think he was in the ceiling, not hanging by a rope.
You found one of 2 bones in this one.
Oh, God. I don't know the other one. Maybe the year?
What are you
2
thinking,
bones.
Nicholas? Any bones standing out?
It was actually his neighbor's dog.
The dog did it. No, it was... Katelyn, are you ready to give up?
Yeah, I am.
It was not Rutherford B. Hayes' youngest son.
Oh, Wilson? Woodrow Wilson? No, I don't know.
William Henry Harrison.
Oh, that guy.
That other really famous president, yeah.
Well, if you'll remember, Katelyn, this led to an incident. This was an incident known as the Harrison Horror, where there were 12 body snatching scandals that were reported in the same year, which included this one.
Yeah. This is the, like, Burke and Hare situation.
But in America.
Yeah.
And then, last easy one.
Okay.
Grave torpedoes were super effective.
Yeah, bone to pick, they were bad.
Yes.
What's
They
the
were
opposite?
bad.
They were not if a grave robber entering a grave and you put the Pokemon battle layout up, it would be not very effective. And then they would steal the body and run away.
No, they were
They would go down
ineffective.
and select run away with body.
They would select get blown up and run away.
Yeah.
All the
With
goods
body.
that I wanted are blown up now.
Yeah.
And my foot is burning.
Well, I guess Katelyn wins. I've got a bone to pick.
I think we all win that.
I think we do too.
I think I lost.
No.
No.
What?
You corrected me, so you definitely win.
I mean, I feel like actually was the spirit of the game, so
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for playing this little quiz.
Thank you for the Hanukkah quiz.
Thank
the
you for-
Hanukkah Boney quiz.
I will cherish this Hanukkah gift for years to come.
I hope you will.
All right. Well, I'll take us into our first Boney tale. So this episode's going to come out on Christmas Eve or Christmas, I believe. So I decided to do a little Christmas story.
Ooh.
I was trolling the internet. I Googled Christmas murders. I Googled it.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot. There are tons. And a couple Christmases ago, I did the big one, which was the Lawson family murders, where the
Classic.
dad killed everybody in his family on Christmas and then killed himself, I believe.
Classic Christmas murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
that was, another big time classic is Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Of course.
Unfortunately, I still haven't worked up the courage to cover that case.
Yeah.
But I am going to tell you about the Christmas tree lady.
The Christmas tree lady.
This sounds fun and festive.
You would think that, wouldn't you? Okay, and before I get into this, huge trigger warning for mention of suicide in this story. So my sources were Newsweek.com, Kiro7.com, Oxygen.com, which is my favorite true crime anomaly, and then DNAsolves.com. So we're taking it back to right before Christmas, 96, in Annandale, Virginia. It's really cold. There's frost on the ground. And one morning, it's December 18th, 1996, and a groundskeeper in the Pleasant Valley Memorial Park, which is a cemetery, discovers a unidentified woman in a section of the cemetery that's reserved for babies.
What is this grown woman doing where the baby should be dead?
It doesn't make sense. She's also above ground.
Oh,
Unusual for a cemetery.
there are
Unusual.
several issues with this dead body.
Yeah. So the reason she's known as the Christmas tree lady is because there was a 8-inch Christmas tree found very close to her body. She was laid down on like a plastic tarp type thing. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But basically, so the woman had a bag over her head, and cause of death was determined to be suffocation. She was dressed nicely in a red silk shirt, blue sweater, blue pants, and an Eddie Bauer jacket. And the tree was on top of this clear plastic sheet that she was laying on. She also was close to a tape player, like a portable cassette tape player. And that had a pair of headphones attached to it. And she was partway through a comedy cassette.
Oh.
I know. So what they think happened is that this unidentified woman, in her backpack, she brought this bag and masking tape, and she put the bag over her head and taped the bag to her head.
Dang.
God,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Isn't that horrible? But they determined that there was no foul play. Like, all evidence pointed to the fact that she did this to herself. Later, they would find that she had alcohol and Valium in her system, but the most interesting thing she had with her were 2 envelopes in her pockets.
Ooh.
Oh.
So there were some, one of the envelopes had a couple different notes in it. One of the notes had some like Bible verses on it. And then one of the notes said, quote, "Deceased by own hand. Prefer no autopsy. Please order cremation with funds provided. Thank you, Jane Doe." So that was her suicide note. And in the other envelope, there were 2 $50 bills, one for the coroner and one for the cemetery. So she was like, and in her note, she was like, "I've given you the money. This is what I want. And I am Jane Doe." Yeah. Super intense, super scary. And just like, what? Like, just to come upon that. I just don't even know what you would think, because that would be horrifying. And immediately I would think foul play had been involved, given everything I described. But
seems
there was no foul play.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if I wanted to murder someone, that'd be a pretty good way to do it.
I mean, yeah. So another
also,
thing...
that'd be a pretty good way to stiff the crematorium and the cemetery, because that seems like not enough money.
Well,
I mean, maybe in the 90s.
I don't know.
Maybe it's all she had, Nick.
Even in the 90s, $50 for a cremation? Maybe
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
Well, they don't have to go that far. She's already there.
I'm not speaking ill of the dead. Could have left a tip.
Before you specified that, I thought that that's what it was. Like, I thought that was like, "Sorry, I'm in your cemetery, dead. Here's $50."
It was like her wishes to be cremated, and that was her fee, I guess. I don't know how she came up with that amount, but that's what it was.
Can't haggle with her.
No. I mean, in retrospect, they probably shouldn't have put that big billboard outside the cemetery advertising.
It's only $50 to be buried here.
$50 cremation, $50 burial.
That's terrible.
Steal of a lifetime.
You laugh, but like nowadays, like I'm pretty sure like the average minimal cost of a funeral is something like $7,000, like $4,000.
It's a racket.
Yeah, it kind of is. Don't get us started on green burial.
Don't die. Just avoid it all.
Just live forever. So I guess another thing to note, she wasn't like next to any particular grave. So they weren't sure if the section that she had put herself in was like on purpose, or if she had just found a spot that she liked. It wasn't really clear, because she wasn't actually like right next to anybody's grave in particular. So this happens in 96, and they just spend years and years trying to figure out who she is, because it's just such a bizarre case. They compared her physical description to tons of missing person cases in the area, but couldn't identify her. In the year 2000, so about 4 years after she was discovered, the police released a sketch of the woman, I guess hoping that somebody would recognize her. I'm not really sure why they didn't use like a picture, or like it was 96, like they should have had pictures of her. So unless it was like upsetting to see her that way, like I don't know why they released a sketch and not a picture.
Yeah, probably Not like, hey, here's this picture of a dead lady.
Yeah, I mean,
and,
yeah.
like, dead people sometimes don't look like they did in life.
Yeah, that could be part of it, for sure. But the sketch yielded absolutely no leads. So that was in 2000. One of the Fairfax County detectives assigned to the case, his name is Richard Perez. He told the Post, I assume the Washington Post, in 2000 that he was really frustrated by this case because, quote, what makes it so frustrating is that this isn't a case where we're dealing with skeletal remains. This is a lady that somebody should recognize. So that was, I think that just kind of sums up to me why a lot of the cops took interest in this case and why they never gave up, because this case has been solved.
Really?
This year, 2022, this summer,
Year of our Lord?
the year of our Lord 2022, in the summer, the Christmas tree lady was identified, and I'll get into who she is in just a second. So in January 2022, the police department in Fairfax, they sent the evidence to a company called Othram, which is like genetic scientists. They are pretty tight. It sounds like they do a lot of good work to bring closure to families that have been affected by cold cases. They sequenced a profile for the Jane Doe from the cemetery, and they worked with forensic genetic genealogist Carla Davis to execute the search and do the research and everything. And then in May 2022, the profile was given to detectives because they were able to get a suspected family member on the DNA. So they matched the DNA to David Meyer, 88, who lives in Virginia Beach, and he had a missing sister. David Meyer wasn't able to confirm the identity from the sketch, but the police gave him a break because it had been at least 50 years since he had seen her.
Yeah, but also, I don't know.
I know, you'd hope that you'd recognize your own sister even 50 years on, but you never know.
Yeah.
There was another surviving sibling named Annette Meyer Clow. She was in Phoenix, and she saw the sketch, and she was like, that is my older sister. And she was like, that's 1,000% my older sister. So sisters stick together, and brothers don't know shit, apparently.
Sister.
Well, it's a good thing oh no, I have a sister-in-law.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She counts. Totally.
Yeah.
Matt's awesome, though. Your brother's great. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So DNA testing conclusively confirmed that the Christmas tree lady was this missing sister. Her name was Joyce Marilyn Meyer Summers. She was 69 when she died. It's unclear why she took her life or why she was in Virginia. I think her family was from Iowa, so they had kind of lost track of her. Her sister, Annette, was quoted from the Post saying, "I was stunned, just stunned. The family had looked for her. They were still looking for her a year after she had died." And of course, this was difficult news to hear, but they were glad to know that, nothing terrible had happened to her by somebody else's hand. I think there's some comfort for them in at least knowing that she wasn't a victim of foul play. Even though suicide is never the answer. We know this.
Yeah, I think, this is kind of like a thread of all these cases that get solved with this new DNA. It's like this old wound that gets opened up, but also we hope that there's a measure of closure there.
Right, exactly. So we learned a little bit more about the Christmas tree lady, aka Joyce, from her family and from her sister and her surviving brother. She was actually the oldest of 5 siblings. She was artistic, creative, and smart. I guess she worked at 17 magazine in Los Angeles for a little while. So I was like, yes, love it.
Yeah.
She also tried teaching grade school at a Catholic school, but struggled with that. And her sister remembered her staying up until all hours of the night doing lesson plans because it just wasn't coming naturally to her. This is really sad. So the reason the family kind of lost track of her was because she started seeing a psychiatrist.
Really?
Yeah, I guess, and this was in like the 50s or 60s. I guess, according to my source at that time, quote, psychoanalysis was all about blaming the family, blaming the mother. It sort of estranged her from the family, end quote. Which is like, no. I mean, I'm so glad that we've evolved past this point where we know that therapy is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength.
It sucks that, like, was her family mad at her about it?
I guess her mother was mad about it, and there was a confrontation with the mother in the 60s. So after the 60s, they were like communicating by letter. And then she lived in Seattle for a little while. She got married. She got divorced. They know that she went to Tucson, Arizona because her siblings visited her there in the 80s. And my source said that Joyce asked her siblings if they would build her a house. And they were like, no. And so that made the relationship even worse. It's kind of unclear, but it sounds like just through a series of unfortunate events, not by Lemony Snicket, that she just lost touch with her family. But despite this, her brothers and sisters had tried in the 90s to get a private detective, somebody to try and find her. They didn't report her missing, which is kind of strange to me.
Well,
but
where's your problem?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a kind of messy situation.
It's like a lot of people didn't do 100% of this.
Yeah, that's what it kind of seems like. Except, actually, oddly enough, the detectives in this case that actually like stuck with it for 25 years.
Could have gone away, within
exactly
6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah, now they just gotta go find all those missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice. And that is something that Othram should probably be focusing on. I hope they are. This is this like genetic sequencing company. And I just thought it was an interesting fact. The cases that Othram does, they are funded by private donors.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, this was all done because random citizens donated money to make this possible.
Yeah, that's a heartwarming bone miss.
Yeah, we got there. And I will just end with a quote from the
Nick
press
is
release.
shaking his head.
Nick's
No,
like,
we did
"No, I
not
hate
get
this."
there. Why did you invite me to do this?
This is
Are you bummed out, my friend?
From beginning to end.
No, I'm gonna bring you back. After the ad, I will bring you back and we will have fun.
Okay.
So, Major Ed O'Carroll, who is the Bureau Commander for Major Crime, Cyber, and Forensics at Fairfax Police Department, said, quote, "After decades of wondering what happened to their loved one, Joyce's family is finally at peace thanks to the dedicated work of several generations of FCPD detectives, anonymous donors, and Othram. Our detectives never stopped working for Joyce and her family. Advances in technology will continue to help close cases and provide answers to victims' families."
This was a 25-year-old case.
Yeah.
Damn.
Actually, more like 30 years. Sorry, I think some of my articles were old because this was in 96. So
30, 29, 28, 28, 26. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
It is amazing that they never forgot about this woman, especially because
Right?
it wasn't a violent crime.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the time, with this kind of shit, you hear of these DNA discoveries that, the Golden State Killer, or, these either multiple murders or murders that, have had a high profile. Whereas because it's a privately owned business, they can focus on something like this.
Exactly. So check out Othram. I think they're really cool so far.
So far, so
And
good.
donate and create your own Christmas miracle.
Create your own Christmas miracle today.
Yeah. Do you have a cold case and you have $5,000 at least lying around?
Give it to us and we will give it to Othram.
You too can bribe a scientist. Well, I think the skeleton that lives outside of my window is waving the coin bucket at me again, so I think we might have to do an ad.
Yes. Listen to an ad, please, and come back for some light-hearted something or other. Bye.
Bye.
located on the edges of your radio static. You've stumbled upon the Lost Signal, your podcast destination for tales of horror and the macabre, brought to life with voice acting and sound effects. New episodes are released every 2 weeks on Monday on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Join us, won't you?
The scientist I bribed has made me a series of corgis that can only speak in 3-word sentences. What did your bribed scientist give you?
Oh, wow. What a cool, creative bribe. My scientist that I bribed gave me a little orb, and and it glows a bright greenish blue light, and then when you put pressure on it, it says, "That was easy." I'm pretty sure he just put an easy button from Staples from like 10 years ago in there.
Oh man, you really flushed your bribe down the toilet, Mickey.
I got ripped off on this bribe, y'all.
I think that was not a scientist, Nikki.
No, that was just a guy at Staples wearing a cape.
Yeah.
I turns out I bribed the eccentric Staples employee.
Yeah, God.
Nick, did you mistake the Staples wizard for the Staples scientist?
He was a white cloak, and he had glasses.
Nikki.
He's not Dumbledore.
He's not Dumbledore.
There was a Starfield lining in the white cape, now that I realize. And there was a tall top hat.
Were you speaking to some sort of Dumbledore Abraham Lincoln hybrid?
I mean, he did tell me where the printer toner was. So, if that's what Dumbledore would do, then yes.
Dumbledore would send you on a quest to, like, find it, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't just tell you.
Well, he would need toner, and then he would tell you that you have to get the toner, and then he would kill you when you get back. Anyway, speaking of myths and magic and folklore, that's what we're going to be talking about for the second half of this show. We're going to be talking about Frau Perchta.
Frau Perchta?
Do you know this? Do you know this lady?
No, but it sounds like I was going to say, yeah, you betcha. Cut that part.
No, don't cut it.
Can I get that clean, Frau Perchta? You betcha.
Ugh, Jesus Christ. Frau Perchta, you betcha.
Thank you, Nicholas. My sources for this story are an article from Vice, one from Burrows of the Dead.
Jesus.
Yeah, super intense. You know it. And then 2 from Wikipedia, and then 1 from thestoriedimaginarium.com.
I think that's the website of that guy I met in Staples.
Yeah! His picture was on the front page. He was like, "You want to know about a Christmas witch?"
Oh, and then his top hat was like cut off because it kept going up. Like a Doug Dimmadome situation.
No, he did not frame it well. So, Frau Perchta is a folkloric character from the Austria, Bavaria, Germany, European area.
Central Europe.
That's
I knew
what
that.
they call it.
I knew that because in high school, in The Sound of Music, I played Frau Schmidt, the housekeeper.
Ah. I was also in The Sound of Music, but when I was in elementary school, and I was Marta.
Must have been nice. I was also in Sound of Music, and I played the Austrian count who's like, "I don't like you Nazis."
Well, that's accurate,
That's
I
good.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're on the right side of history
So
there.
I mean-
everybody in the world did Sound of Music as a child.
I mean, I think it's pretty important.
It's a staple elementary through high school musical.
Yeah, but I was like, what's Frau? And it's like, that's like lady.
That's a lady.
Yeah.
That's a lady.
It's Mrs.
And this Mrs. goes by actually a bunch of different names that all are kind of similar, but it's fun to kind of hear the variations. She's sometimes known as just Perchta or Perched, also known as Perchta or Bertha, and my favorite, Spinnenstubenfrau.
Spinnenstuben.
Say that 10 times fast. Joke's on you, you can't.
I'd rather say spinning room lady, which is what it means.
I like simply Bertha.
Bertha, she's coming.
She coming.
So she is thought to be related in appearance and powers to Frigga, the Scandinavian goddess, but she also is possibly related to the Germanic goddess Hulda, who might be her cousin, canonically.
Yeah.
Wait, this is a god lady?
Yeah, it's a god lady.
Oh, so this is not a real lady.
No, this is a Christmas witch.
Oh, it's a Christmas witch. Okay, sorry, continue.
Get it straight. This is a Christmas witch,
I'm
obviously.
sorry, I obviously all the signs were there.
All the signs were there. There's a giant neon sign on my face that says Christmas witch.
It's very bright, and it's blowing out all of your camera.
Yeah, let me take it off and turn it off for a second. But both Hulda and Perchta appear during the 12 days of Christmas, and they are the guardians of the beasts. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Yeah, like what beasts?
Someone's got to guard him.
I don't know. Frau Perchta is often depicted as having like a beak type nose, like your stereotypical witch, like Western interpretation of a witch, but her nose is made of iron.
Oh.
Ah!
She'll peck you.
Yeah. She's like dressed in rags, carrying a cane, and she's got like big old crone vibes. But watch out, because bitch has a big knife under her skirt.
Oh, God.
Oh, she's packing.
She's backing.
You want to see what I have under these rags? It's a knife.
It's a knife. She sometimes appears as like a beautiful, kind of like tempting lady, but she more often appears as this more like hag, crone type form. And in some depictions, she has one foot that is considerably larger than the other, and it is referred to as her goose foot.
No!
Oh, it's for stomping geese with.
Well,
Yes. Yes, Nick, you nailed it on the first guess. That's for big geese stomping foot. Here's those things a honking and comes stomping.
if this place a honkin', I'll come stomping.
So, I mean, someone's got to do it. Someone got to shut them geese up.
Yeah, I've gotten far too many wet geese in my house this year. It's not for stomping geese, but they're like the theme of her having a goose or swan foot like appears in all the different like languages that she's like a lore character in, and it's possible that it's because she has this goose foot, it's maybe connected to why people, more specifically in Europe, eat goose for Halloween, for Christmas.
For
I don't know,
Halloween,
they
for
just
Christmas?
like goose over there.
Wait, hold on. For which one?
For Christmas. My brain transmuted it to Halloween.
I mean, we all know that Halloween is your Christmas,
Yeah, true.
and then Christmas is by extension your Halloween.
Yeah, it's very spooky to me.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Why are we all celebrating this baby? We should all leave it alone.
Okay, so because her foot was big, we eat goose for Christmas. Gotcha.
Yes. Possibly.
Yeah, delicious.
I mean, that makes more sense.
limp.
That makes more sense than most folk tales.
Yeah, but you need that big foot to make the long walk there.
How else are you going to kill the goose? You have to stomp it with
Yeah.
the big foot.
That's what I'm all about. That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
Exactly.
these gooses ain't gonna stomp themselves.
Definitely. But
I would hope not.
yeah. She is also associated with the Feast of the Epiphany on January 6th.
Ooh.
Oh.
Didn't age well.
Berta, where were you on January 6th?
She was stomping geese in the capital.
Hopefully in Germany somewhere, not in America.
I would love to see Frau Perchta defending the Capitol.
Yeah,
I mean, I
only
feel
if
like-
she was defending the Capitol.
I could see her just like while the chaos is going on, she's just like in the reflecting pool, just like sloshing around, chasing geese, like not paying attention to anything else that's happening. We're just, get back here.
Or a great distraction to
Please
grab
just-
a goose.
Please disperse. Now hold on. I gotta get this goose.
Get back here! Get out of my way, you little red-hatted beanbags!
Wait for the new Andrew Callahan documentary where he was at January 6th interview. Wait for her interview.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
It's gonna be like QAnon, Frau Perchta, Don Jr.
Get that microphone out of my face! The goose is getting away! Alright, so she's associated with January 6th.
Mm.
Which I didn't even realize until I was going over this with Odessa last night. And she was like, she's associated with what date? But so her whole thing is that she is like the goddess / like witch of getting your spinning done. So like they would have like
Your spin
flax.
class.
Different kind of spinning.
Yarn.
Get to your Peloton, or else I'm gonna stomp a goose in your helm.
If this lady was behind me, you best believe I would be on a Peloton. I would find a Peloton to be on.
She's your spin instructor, and all she does is intimidate people and throw geese at them. But
Other
it's the best workout you've ever had.
Other exercise bikes are available.
You don't have to use a Peloton, but she'll get mad if you don't. But so basically she was like, if you don't get your spinning done before the holidays, because you're not supposed to do your spinning on the holidays. No spinning on the holidays. So if you
Is
haven't
this
got...
making yarn? Was I right?
Yes, you're
Okay,
right.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah, yarn
making
spinning.
thread yarn for making textiles.
That big
Yeah.
old crazy wooden thing with like the pedal and the wheel and you're spinning.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, what Sleeping Beauty
Rumpelstiltskin,
pricked her finger on it. For sure, for sure.
clumsy old Sleeping Beauty.
So, like, Frau Perchta is, like, the keeper of these, like, cultural taboos, right? Like, she's, like, the one who's, like, responsible for making sure that you're not spinning.
She's the enforcer.
Yes, exactly. Well, she's judge, jury, and executioner.
Judge, Judy, and executioner.
Hey. So she's flying around the countryside to different houses during the 12 days between Christmas and January 6th. So,
Gathering up all of the good patriots.
No.
well, she's actually looking for naughty children
Oh.
and young servants, because those are two different things.
Naughty children, young servants, but similar, but exactly
What?
the same status.
What did the young servant ever do to Bertha?
Well, if they had been misbehaving or not doing their chores, she would know. And if you had been a good little child / young servant, you might get a, like, silver coin in your boot or in, like, a little bucket in your house or, you know, that kind of thing.
A little bucket. What bucket?
You know, the bucket that people would have around the house.
Is it specifically for Bertha because that's all I want to call her? Or is it just like any bucket?
I mean, I think having a Berta bucket would be preferable, but I think
Yeah.
any bucket, any port in the storm, you know?
I just worry that she's throwing it in like a chamber pot or something.
Well, you better hope she isn't, because if she finds that you are a naughty little child, or if your house is dirty and unkempt and you haven't gotten your spinning done, she's gonna come to your house, she's gonna take that knife out from under her skirt, and she's gonna yeah, same. She's gonna slit open your stomach,
Whoa!
pull out your intestines, and then stuff your tummy with straw and rocks.
No.
So, thoughts?
Thought number one, classic. Germanic evil person. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't want to tie your shoes? Well, the hedgehog bastard will come and he will slit your toes in twain and feed them to your sister. Like, that's
the hedgehog bastard?
Like, that's it's always something like this.
This is kind of like a Krampus situation, it feels like.
Like, small inconvenience of life, of semi-modern life, and major consequences.
I mean, how else are you going to teach the little children to get their spinning done and their chores?
And I'll say, like, I don't fully know the stakes of spinning in 18, or what, this is probably even before the, like, 1600s Bavaria.
This is, like, 1500s.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, if you're gonna, like, the whole family's gonna freeze because Servant Jim didn't get the winter coats put together in time. Jimmy messed up big time, and so the whole family froze in the hut. I don't know. It seems like he's got to be commensurate to the crime.
Well, it seems to me like it's just a story that, what's the word? Like, Misters and Misses of the house, the, like, people in charge were like, oh, you better work really hard to their servant, or, oh, you better be really good to their kid, or Bertha's gonna come get you. Mm-hmm. So it seems like just kind of a way to make your people behave and, like, do what you want them to do.
I imagine
it has to do with capitalism to me.
Well, this probably predates capitalism. This is just like
feudalism.
Yeah,
like,
okay, that makes more sense.
I imagine that there was probably some little town, and there was a real woman named Bertha. She had a big pointy nose. She sucked.
Hard ass.
She was the enforcer for all the little things. Oh, little Gerta didn't clean up after herself after Friday dinner. Guess what? Bertha's gonna come by and she's gonna smack you across the face while the whole family watches.
Exactly. And if you didn't eat her on January 6th, if you didn't eat her special meal of gruel and fish, you were getting the tummy slit treatment.
Wow.
Who's gonna be hanging with me on January 6th eating gruel and fish?
Should be wild.
Well, fun choice of words, Nicholas.
Oh.
Because Frau Perchta is usually depicted as being part of something called a wild hunt.
Interesting.
Uh-oh.
I was just quoting the tweet that Donald Trump made to call everyone to the rally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was literally quoting it.
Oh my god. Wait, say it one more time.
I paraphrase, but he says, be there, will be wild.
Be there, will be wild. Yeah, it was.
Wild like Bertha, the animal goose stomping lady.
Yeah, I mean, God, yeah.
Stop Mike Pence, am I right?
Well, I mean, you could say that the January 6th insurrection was something of a wild hunt.
Yeah, for Pelosi.
Please continue. Let's move forward with this analogy.
Well, a wild hunt in, like, European folklore usually refers to, like, a hunting party that is led by a powerful mythic or historical figure.
No. Okay.
Who is leading a charge of the souls of the dead, ghostly dogs, fairies, valkyries, or elves. So if we see Donald Trump as the leader of the wild hunt and all of his MAGA bullshit as the ghostly dogs and souls of the damned, then it's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, I mean, you got Don Jr. and is the elf. we can't. We can't continue down this road.
We cannot, but the concept of a wild hunt was very interesting to me because it comes up in a bunch of different folklores where, like, you know, on a certain night or whatever, you know, there can be seen, you know, one mythic figure. And sometimes in these stories, historical figures, which I thought was funny, and I started to apply to our, like, Abraham Lincoln coming down the hill with a bunch of, like, ghosts.
Yeah. What would be, like, manga
This
aside,
sounds like
the American Wild Hunt.
This sounds like an episode of Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt now.
Seeing this wild hunt kind of going along with Perchta and her theme of punishment above all. If you saw this wild hunt with her leading it, it was said that you would be either abducted into, like, the fairy realm, and we're talking fairies like the bad ones that, like, will rip you, like, similar to Perchta, will, like, rip you up and eat you, steal you away, steal your babies. Or you would be sucked into the underworld and kind of recycled back into the hunt.
Ooh.
Either way, you're fucked.
Either way, you're fucked.
Better hope you don't come back as geese.
You better hope not with Perchta around. You mentioned Krampus.
I did,
earlier.
yeah.
Krampus has kind of a connection to Perchta. She, of course, and Krampus live in kind of that Germanic scary Christmas canon. But she, in her wild hunt, it's said that she has a bunch of Krampus-like creatures that are like little mini Krampuses.
Ooh.
Love it.
Krampus.
Little Krampus crawling around, setting things on fire, ripping open people's tummies. Happy Christmas!
So she does the dirty work, and then the Krampuses scoop them up and put them in the bag.
Probably, yeah. She's like, anyone I didn't disembowel, you can put in the sack.
Oh my god.
She has a couple fun stories about her. One is that there was a young man in a village who kept giving her, like, side eye glances and, like, was always giving her the stink eye and stuff, and she didn't like it. So she blinded him.
Oh, with the knife?
I want to say a knife, but it says in some versions of the story he, like, got better.
Wah.
I know. Wah.
We're, like, disappointed. God.
It should have been. Hey, this is 16th century Germany. You pay for your the consequences are permanent.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But probably my favorite story about Perchta would be the time that she crashed a wedding.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
I'm listening. Wedding Crashers, a modern day, Vince Vaughn.
Frau Perchta, played by Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
So, it's the night of the wedding, right? And Perchta is kind of prowling around, whatever. It's before January 6th, so she's out doing her shit.
Okay, so she's not in DC yet.
No, not yet. She's still got time. And she sees that this wedding is going on. And, you know, I bet she thinks to herself, gee, it would be nice to attend a wedding. And she goes to the wedding. She goes in there, and the bride and groom's family were like, you know, you're not invited to this wedding, you old ugly hag. Get out of here. And she says, okay.
Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, no, it's not a great idea, because then she turned them all into wolves.
Oh,
Man, I mean,
her power is limitless.
they should have seen that coming.
She's really OP. Like,
You never turn an old hag away for
No.
anything.
you never turn an old hag away. It's a gimme. It's
This-
a gimme question.
This lady is just like the catch-all for every little. This is like if Larry David had an enforcer. You know, like it would be this lady. Like all the little, like, you know, cutting in line, taking too many samples.
This
is like
she's there.
This is like a Larry David, like, power trip fever dream. This woman.
Where he's followed around by this angry Germanic woman with a hook nose. I mean,
bring it back to Hanukkah. There's something. I mean, I know there's something very, very Jewish about this lady.
I mean, yeah, and, like, that kind of brings me around to, like, some of my, like, we talked a little bit about, you speculated that perhaps there was at one time, like, the village hag that everyone, like, knew. But, like, it just makes me wonder, like, it goes back to the otherness of independent women at this time. And if you were, like, an old crotchety lady, and, like, this is kind of a bummer, but say you had a disability, like having one foot larger than the other. Like, you know, people could be pretty shitty about that back in the day.
Yeah, because that's your fault, right?
Yes, of course.
I mean,
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just being an asshole there. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks for
well, that
clarifying.
too.
You know Katelyn, she's very ableist.
No, but that's a good point. Like, that's like this like image. I mean, obviously, you know, like is a very like internalized anti-Semitic kind of person. Like, hey, if you don't do your chores, that creepy Jewish cripple across the street's gonna come over and slit your throat.
Meanwhile, she's just walking down the road going, I think I'm going to make bread later.
She's just trying to find some more onions.
She's like, damn, I traded my last onion for a gallon of milk, but now I'm rethinking that.
Yeah, and like no one, she just doesn't quite realize that everyone has like created entire lore around her, but also like...
she like shows up late at the bar and everyone's like,
like, what?
She's like, what?
I want a wine.
Yeah, and I was just sharpening my knife.
That I cut my onions with.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like Frau Perchta. The more I read about her, the more I connected to her finicky attitude.
She seems cool, and I'll definitely make sure that I finish sewing my upside-down American flag for this coming January 6th.
Oh my god.
Make sure you do your spinning and also bring your battering ram.
My no step on snake flag and jacket is going to be 100% spun from raw virgin cotton.
I'm making myself a wool flak jacket.
Ooh, it's going to take a lot of wool.
Yeah, but the wool, you won't believe how bulletproof the wool is.
Oh.
It isn't, actually,
Oh,
at all.
Yeah, I would believe that, actually. Turns out.
Oh, man. This did not go quite the way I thought, but in a good way.
No.
You give me that date, and I'm just going to go off. I don't care.
It's just funny to me to think that while that was happening somewhere in the world, the Christmas witch was like, who's down there spinning? Why is everyone watching the TV?
What's democracy?
Yeah, I don't get it. Those people look naughty.
I had in my family tree, there's a Bertha. And so whenever we talk about Bertha in my family, we say, Bertha!
That's what everyone says when they see her coming to the door. They go, Bertha!
I mean, you gotta watch out for Big Bertha.
Yeah, always.
Oh,
on Christmas and beyond.
I forgot to send you guys a picture.
Oh my god.
There's a picture of this woman?
I mean, there's a picture of someone dressed like this woman.
Okay.
Comic-Con?
Sure.
Nick was like, shut up.
Oh, that looks like a wolf lady.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's scary.
What is that? Is that Hebrew?
Up on the top there?
In the bottom left?
Yeah, looks like it.
I'm sorry, but her face looks like a rock in this picture.
Well, I think it's some sort of like paper mask or like
it's so
canvas
scary.
mask. It's like, listener, if you'll picture like those like pictures of like children in like 1920s Halloween where like they've made their own costumes and they're terrifying because they're so bad. This is that, but like
real old.
Imagine a nightmare Chuck E. Cheese scenario where Chucky is an old lady with a shawl and not a mouse, but just a terrifying thing, and that's what it is.
And then
I think we don't even need to post the picture. That was so descriptive.
Yeah,
I think I nailed it. You all get it. You're all on board.
And then you see that at the foot of your bed at the middle of the night on Christmas Eve.
And then you remember there's a whole heap of unspun flax underneath your fucking bed.
Oh, damn it! I got all this flax from Joanne's and I forgot to spin it.
God
What's she gonna think of the knitting project that I've picked up and abandoned like 25 times?
Ooh,
Katelyn, you You only got a few more days to get that thing
I
done.
know, you're right. She hates it.
She
You
hates
got like
it.
a week and 2 days from this recording to finish that sewing project. Otherwise,
Well,
you're gonna get someone's gonna shove rocks down your
but
throat.
I've got Christmas shopping to do. I don't have time for this.
Well, you should have thought of that before you decided to not finish your spinning.
I know, shoot.
Spinning above all else.
Yeah,
Not on a bike, on a wheel
on a wheel.
with a piece of string.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this Bone Miss Romp, Nicholas.
My pleasure, y'all.
Your commentary was above par always.
Thank you so much. I did not contribute a story, but I'd like to think that I contributed some spicy January 6th content.
Yeah, it was spicy.
Honestly, I love it. I think it's so funny, maybe because of the trauma of just watching it, unfold on my phone as it happened, but it's hilarious to me how terrifying it was.
A great man once said, with so many dead horses, you gotta laugh.
You gotta laugh. Exactly. Oh, man. Well, I hope that everyone is having a wonderful holiday, be it Hanukkah, winter solstice, Christmas, Bone Miss, Kwanzaa, the burning of goose-shaped effigies.
Or Mary Lloyd.
Yes! Oh my god, look out for that skeleton horse head. She might try to invite herself in for a rap battle.
Yeah, if you're in Wales, literally watch out.
Yeah. Oh, one day I'm gonna get my shit together to do that. Walking through Ballard with a horse head, skeleton horse head.
I'm gonna make a special trip up for that.
That'd be cool.
You better. Well, that's our project for next Christmas. I'm holding us to it that we're
We've
gonna
just
do a
got
Mary
1
Lloyd
year
next
to get
year.
it done. Yeah.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
better start spinning now.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally right now I'm spinning. You guys can see I am at my wheel. I've actually been spinning this whole time because I too procrastinated.
Wow.
Nick is a good little boy. He got all his spinning done, didn't you?
I got it done like 2 weeks ago because I, for one, am terrified to death of a lady flying through my chimney and slicing me stem to stern. I'm a good little boy and I listen to my elders.
Good. That's good.
Nick is a good little German boy.
Thank you.
Happy bone times to all, and we're thinking of you and hoping you're having a wonderful Saturday.
Yeah. And as we close out 2022, try and look for something you're looking forward to in 2023. Like what cases they're finally going to solve with more advanced DNA technology. You never know.
I think they're finally going to get the Zodiac.
Put that out into the world. It could happen.
I'm looking forward to January 6th.
All right.
That's it. Let's just finish this.
See y'all there, Patriots.
Oh no! Well, happy holidays and
Bon voyage.
God bless America.
oh my
you.
god.
Nailed it.
Thanks for listening to Anything Bones. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Anything Bones Podcast, or email us at anythingbonespodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to Nick Kruger for our spooky music and Stephen Vetteroff
At Chubby Scrubby on Twitter,
for our jazzy vocals, and thank you to Camilla Franklin
at Camilla Strader on Instagram.
for our beautiful bony artwork. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Hot, sexy, dense microphone.
Just as close as you can get.
Cardioid microphone.
For a Christmas closeness. I don't know.
Christmas closeness.
Jingle bones, jingle bones, fossils and rocks.
Peaking the audio. Peaking the audio.
Audio is peaking.
That's probably the cold open right there.
Yeah.